Managing the ADDS environment is one of the most common tasks an IT pro performs. There are several tools that you can use to manage ADDS. Active Directory Administrative Center. The Active Directory Administrative Center provides a GUI that is based on Windows PowerShell. This enhanced interface allows you to perform ADDS object management by using task-oriented navigation, and it replaces the functionality of Active Directory users and computers. Tasks that you can perform by using the Active Directory Administrative Center include creating and managing user, computer, and group accounts, creating and managing OUs, connecting to and managing multiple domains within a single instance of the Active Directory Administrative Center, searching and filtering ADDS data by building queries, creating and managing fine-grained password policies, recovering objects from the Active Directory recycle bin, managing objects that the Dynamic Access Control feature requires. Windows Admin Center. Windows Admin Center is a web-based console that you can use to manage server computers and computers that are running Windows 10. Typically, you use Windows Admin Center to manage servers instead of using remote server administration tools, RSAT. Windows Admin Center works with any browser that is compliant with modern standards, and you can install it on computers that run Windows 10 and Windows Server with desktop experience. Note, you shouldn't install Windows Admin Center on a server computer that is configured as an ADDS domain controller. With a decreasing number of exceptions, Windows Admin Center supports most current Windows Server and Windows 10 administrative functionality. However, Microsoft intends that Windows Admin Center will eventually support all the administrative functionality that is presently available through RSAT. To use Windows Admin Center, you must first download and install it. You can download Windows Admin Center from the Microsoft Download website. After downloading and installing Windows Admin Center, you must enable the appropriate TCP port on the local firewall. On a Windows 10 computer in standalone mode, this defaults to 6516. On Windows Server, in gateway mode, this defaults to TCP 443. In both cases, you can change it during setup. Note, unless you're using a certificate from a trusted CA, the first time you run Windows Admin Center, it prompts you to select a client certificate. Ensure you select the certificate labeled Windows Admin Center Client. Remote Server Administration Tools. RSAT is a collection of tools which enables you to manage Windows Server roles and features remotely. Note, you enable RSAT tools from the Settings app. In Settings, search for Manage Optional Features, select Add a Feature, and then select the appropriate RSAT tools from the returned list. Select Install to add the feature. You can install the consoles available within RSAT on computers running Windows 10 or on server computers that are running the Server with Desktop Experience option of a Windows Server installation. Until the introduction of Windows Admin Center, RSAT consoles were the primary graphical tools for administering the Windows Server operating system. Other ADDS management tools. Other management tools that you use to perform ADDS administration are described in the following table. Management tool, description, Active Directory module for Windows PowerShell. The Active Directory module for Windows PowerShell supports ADDS administration, and it's one of the most important management components. Server Manager and the Active Directory Administration Center are based on Windows PowerShell and use CMD-LETs to perform their tasks. Active Directory users and computers. Active Directory Users and Computers is a Microsoft Management Console MMC snap-in that manages most common resources, including users, groups, and computers. Although many administrators are familiar with this snap-in, the Active Directory Administrative Center replaces it and provides more capabilities. Active Directory Sites and Services. The Active Directory Sites and Services MMC snap-in manages replication, network topology, and related services. Active Directory Domains and Trusts. The Active Directory Domains and Trusts MMC snap-in configures and maintains trust relationships at the domain and forest functional levels. Active Directory Schema snap-in. The Active Directory Schema MMC snap-in examines and modifies the definitions of ADDS attributes and object classes. You don't need to review or change it often. Therefore, by default, the Active Directory Schema snap-in isn't registered. Demonstration. The following video demonstrates how to manage objects in ADDS by using Active Directory Administrative Center. The main steps in the process are: 1. From Server Manager, open Active Directory Administrative Center. 2. Select Dynamic Access Control in the Contoso domain. 3. Perform a global search and review the results. 4. Reset the password for a user in the Contoso domain. 5. Create a new computer object called CCL4. 6. Open the new computer object and review its properties, including its extensions. 7. Review the Windows PowerShell history and examine the new AD computer command.
In this video, I'll demonstrate how you can use the Active Directory Administrative Center to perform a variety of Active Directory administration tasks. This is another option beyond the Active Directory tools that you'll find under Windows Administrative Tools, and is a great functionality piece where not all of these features might be available yet in Windows Admin Center. So to find it, we'll click on the Start menu and go into Windows Administrative Tools, and then click on Active Directory Administrative Center. It takes us to the overview page to start with. So this gives us the local Contoso node, similar to what you'd see under Active Directory users and computers. We can go in here and look at the user properties so we can see our users and our computers. And if we go and click on one of our users in bar, I can bring up the properties for this user. Now, back at the overview page, I have this reset password box down the bottom. So I can actually type in a full username here, put in the password and the new password, and do the password reset all from this one little control on this overview page. Click apply, and now this person's got a new password. I can also use the global search. If I search for something starting with SEA, I'm going to bring up all of the objects in Active Directory that start with that. And you can see that is the naming convention for my computers. So all of my computers here that are listed start with that SEA prefix. So back at the root of this local domain, I can go into computers here, and I can go and have a look at the properties for any of these computers. But I want to stage a new computer account. I can do that from here too. Under computers, go new computer, and enter in all of the details here for this object for this new computer that I'm creating, SEA-CL4, to get that ready to join my domain. Now if I right click on the properties for that computer, I can go and type in some more information and get into things like the security, the location, and the extensions. So the attribute editor shows me all of those settings that I'd see through those other controls. And finally, another great little detail that you get with the Administrative Center, if I go back to the overview page and click down the bottom, I have this Windows PowerShell history. So it's logging the things that I did and showing what the PowerShell commands are that have executed in the background for the new computer account and for the password reset that I did.
Summary. Contoso's IT staff are migrating Contoso on-premises servers to Windows Server 2025. As part of the migration, Contoso evaluated its current ADDS environment. As a Windows Server administrator, you've been responsible for managing ADDS objects such as users, groups, and OUs. You now understand the fundamental ADDS structure and how users, groups, and group managed service accounts relate to OUs.